the value was twofold, really. First, it was to capitalize off of the fact that we knew that our students would be exposed to a lot of information surrounding the election, just really taking advantage of the fact that it was a presidential election cycle, right? So our students are adult learners, so of course they're listening to the radio, they're watching TV, they're already aware of these types of issues, and a lot of them are naturally just very engaged in these topics. But of course, when you're from another country, there's an intersection between culture and politics, right? And so especially if you're learning a new language, it might be really daunting and or difficult just to get a good grasp on what those issues are, right, and how everything works. So our goal was to really educate them about the process and then also to provide connections to channels of engagement to where they could take those interests and all the material they've been learning in class and actually be able to utilize it to be advocates for themselves. Because, unfortunately, a lot of our students, they do face a great number of barriers that prevent them from just even coming to English class on a consistent basis, let alone to actually be getting out into the community and to volunteer or to get connected to their elected officials, right, to be advocates for themselves. And so we were really, taking advantage of the fact that we knew that the classroom was this space through which we could connect them to those types of issues, knowing they were going to come to English class. We might not be able to really, make that many efforts to try to take extra steps outside of their English classes to do that, knowing how busy they are. So we thought, okay, we know they're going to be here. Let's utilize the classroom as a space to try to get them connected to those other areas in the community. Yeah, and within the adult education community, and anybody really who works with immigrants and refugees, we always talk about those big three, which are transportation, childcare, and work schedules. So some of my students, I teach specifically at 11 o'clock, a level 3 class on Mondays and Wednesdays. And I have several students who come in from getting off work at 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning. And then they stay awake for a couple hours, they go to class from 11 to 1, and then they come home and they take a nap. And then they do it all over again. So a lot of them are just very tired all the time, right? And depending on what your socioeconomic status is, which a lot of them are, socioeconomically marginalized, not all of them, certainly by any means. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about who refugees and immigrants are. People always kind of think of them as these uneducated, indigent peoples. Not the case at all, right? Everybody has a wide array of varying backgrounds and education levels. But transportation is another one if they don't have access to a vehicle, especially if they're a newer arrival. And then certainly many of them have children, and childcare is expensive and difficult to come by and to find. And so we are proud of the fact that we do offer childcare here at all of our English sites to help kind of mitigate that barrier. It's one of the ways in which we do kind of help them, ensure that they have access to education. But those are really the three, work schedule, childcare, and transportation.